Most of you who are trying to build a brand in e-commerce in 2025 are not successful because you don't understand the concept of value and creating value. And in today's video, after having sold over $100 million worth of products online in the last 14 years, I'm going to explain to you exactly what you need to do to actually build a successful brand. Okay, because there's a lot of information out there. Some of it's good, some of it's not so great. I'm going to try and simplify it for you in this video and teach you how to build a brand that lasts, that you can actually scale and exit over a period of time, okay? So let's start off with your product selection and your category selection. Whenever I'm building a brand with my business partner, James, there are a few things that we look at, okay? And that is, how can we provide value to a saturated market, and how can we stand out in that market and create what's called a brand edge? This also incorporates a product edge, which I'll touch on in this video as well, okay? So creating value for a consumer is essential, because if you think about the products that you buy as consumers, most of the products that you are buying consistently, you're buying subconsciously because of the value it gives you. And most of the products you're actually buying, you aren't even being hit with marketing material by them. These are simple products that you pick up from the supermarket, from your local grocery store, etc., from your pharmacy that you use every day. Now, you've got to ask yourself, why are you buying these products? It's not because you're seeing Facebook ads, it's because there's value in it, okay? So when you are thinking about a brand that you want to build, think about the value you're giving them. And I'll give you some examples of what types of value you can give people. And maybe in the form of quality against price point. So when we launched a skincare brand, we saw a gap in the market and we knew how we could provide value. A lot of the brands out there were selling a clay mask that were quite small, overpriced, and they dried out your skin. So we came into the market with a product that didn't dry out your skin, it was bigger in size, and we charged less, okay? So that was our competitive edge or our advantage, indirectly creating value for the consumer, value for money, quality and price point, okay? Now, there are multiple different ways you can provide value, but that's just one of them, okay? Now, the second thing is you need to be able to capture attention. If you think about the biggest markets in Australia, in America, in the UK, and in Canada, and then look at the brands that are capturing those markets, all of them know how to capture attention. Generally speaking, this is in the way that they've built up their brand, okay? You know who's doing it well at the moment? It's the celebrities, all right? It's the Lemmy Sleeps of the world, because they know how to capture attention. Now, what's important to note here, guys, is that these brands are not reinventing the wheel. Let's look at Lemmy Sleep, which is one of the Jenner's brands, as an example. She's literally taken a product, turned it into a gummy, launched into a saturated market, the vitamin space, that is oversaturated to the moon, right? But she's got really cool branding. They know how to capture attention through their content, their marketing, and their branding. And as a result, they've built $1 billion company in the last 2 years. And this is what you need to do when you're starting out. If you think you're going to be successful starting some mediocre, boring brand, like a clothing brand or a skincare brand or a hair care brand that has generic packaging, generic brand feel, it's got no brand personality, you're setting yourself up to fail. In fact, you can have the best product in the world, but if there's nothing exciting about the way your brand feels and looks, you've already lost, because you're not able to capture attention. And this is why you're seeing so many creators who have built up an audience first go out and launch a brand and win, because they've already got the audience there. Okay, so they've already created value for themselves through the audience. They come up with a brand that's cool, that connects with their audience, that's fun, that's got personality, and it sells. Now, everyone who watches me is obsessed with Facebook ads, and that's because Facebook ads, or known as meta ads, is the main driver for any e-com brand, okay? So we're gonna talk about it in this video, don't worry about that. Now, once you've done the fundamentals, so you've built your brand, you've got your value set in stone, you know exactly who you're targeting, you've got a great quality product, then this is where you have the best chance with Facebook ads, okay? Because once you launch your ads and you use good quality content that is capturing, engaging, you give yourself a 50% better chance at finding success with meta ads, okay? Think about it logically. Let's take two examples. Product one is an amazing product, 10 out of 10, the ingredients. Let's just focus on skincare as an example. The best quality ingredients, the best product, but no one's tried it. Keep this in mind. Brand two has a little bit of a subpar product. Ingredients maybe not as good. The quality, maybe 80% of, what the other brand is. But the packaging is insane. It's colorful. It connects with the audience. The brand tone of voice is amazing. It connects with the audience again. the values that that brand has connects with the audience, okay? They're attention grabbing because they connect. Because remember, we connect with people, not product. Which ad or which brand do you think is going to win? It's the second brand. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is, yes, obviously product quality is important. Don't get me wrong. You need to focus on product quality, but you need to make sure that you're also focusing on the brand piece. When those two things work together, that's how magic happens. And so what a lot of people are doing at the moment is they're building up an audience. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that you go out and become an influencer and build up an audience, but what I am trying to drill home here is that you need to capture attention. You need to stand out. You need to go against the grain, okay? So start thinking about what type of brand do I want to build? And when you are thinking of brand, disregard the product for a second, okay? A product is just a product. A brand is what connects consumers. A brand is what emits emotion in a consumer and ultimately is what gets them to buy. But not only get them to buy, it gets them to stay with you throughout the longevity of your brand, okay? So this is really what I want you guys to be focusing on. And this is what I think we do well and why our brands have been successful in the online space. I'll give you some examples with my current brand, Sasha Therese, that I'm building with Sasha and James. We've created a brand catered towards Gen Z and up to sort of 28 to 29-year-old women, okay? Our brand's all about confidence within yourself. The brand was actually born out of the love and relationship that Sasha and her mum have, okay? And we wanted to carry that out in our clothes. So when girls are wearing our clothes, they feel that sense of confidence, of love, of self-esteem. And that's what people buy into. And that's what we're giving people, okay? Not to mention the quality of our garments. We're not selling crap, okay? So you need to come up with what's called brand values. What is it that you value as a brand? And do those mirror the values of your target demographic being your audience? Because if they don't and there's a disconnect, then you're not going to be successful because your audience who you're marketing to wants to buy from you, but there's a disconnect because they don't value the same things that your brand values, okay? So you need to think deeper about it. And the biggest misconceptions or the biggest failures, I should say, for new brand owners starting out is that they do not understand this concept. What a lot of people do is they focus solely on the product, they build the best product, and it doesn't sell because they don't have a strong brand behind it. And there's nothing really for people to connect to. What you have to understand in these days is that people connect with people, not with product, okay? People use product because as a byproduct of using that product, you get a benefit out of it. If you want to be successful in e-com and grab attention in the social media space, you got to build connection, okay? Just to recap, you got to provide value and you have to build a sexy brand. It's imperative. So your meta ads are going to scale naturally, okay? Because you have what's called value in your brand and in your product. So anyway, guys, this is why that stuff's important. I can't stress enough. It's helped us grow to, 8 figures a year in our second year of business 2 times in a row. Okay. So this stuff works. Please take note of it and implement it. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on is the aspect of community building and why it's important. Now, a lot of people will ask, well, how do I build community? And quite simply, community building does happen naturally if you've got your brand in order, you've got your brand in place in terms of the values and the things that we've already spoken about in this video. But there are additional things that you can do to build community. And one of those things is events, okay? So if you've got a health and wellness brand, you can set up events quarterly where you invite your most loyal customers, you invite some influencers, some PTs, you go and do a beach run day, you do ice baths, and then you capture that and you push that out to your audience on your organic channels through EDMs and stuff like that. And essentially what you're trying to do here is you're trying to build a movement. If your brand is all about selling, you may do well for a period of time, but eventually there's going to be a time, and I promise you it happens time and time again, where your brand will fizzle out because you've maxed out the amount of consumers that you can sell to. And generally they're consumers that are desperately looking for your product. But at the same time, you're not building up a community or loyalty around your brand, meaning that those consumers that you've purchased essentially through ads or whatever channel it may be, they're not necessarily loyal customers. You want to be able to build a cult community because those people are going to be the ones that come back time and time again. They're going to be the ones that are going to print you money because when you have repeat purchase, which comes through building community and value, you don't have to keep paying to acquire that customer, okay? And retention is where it is at. Okay, you cannot build, or it's very difficult to build an 8 or 9 figure brand over a period of 5+ years without retention. Okay, because what happens is when you have those same people coming back, it creates what's called a snowball effect. You have 20% retention, 30% retention. Now, suddenly you're making all this revenue from repeat purchase customers, but you're not paying the same amount as you did to pay them to buy the first time from you. Meaning you have a lot more cash flow to pump into brand building, into events, into Facebook ads, into influencers, into better content, whatever it is. Facebook ads, all of these things are important. And I know a lot of you guys love that kind of content, and I will talk on that content. But there are other things that you need to do to set yourself up to get your Facebook ads to work better. And that's what this video is about. It's about how do we bring everything into place to bring about value, to bring about brand, that's then ultimately going to enable us to get the most amount of dollars back for our marketing spend, and then ultimately grow over a sustained period of time. So you can build up a business of value, build up a community, and then exit the business. Okay. So guys, if you like this type of content, please comment below. I would really appreciate it. As always, I appreciate you guys watching my content. Please press subscribe. It would mean the world to me. It pushes out my videos to more and more people. And if you want me to touch on some more topics, comment below and I'll do my best to get to them ASAP. God bless you all. I'll see you on the next one.